What? We wanted to make it a surprise, right? So, surprise, and welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk with our new split screen individual windows. So we don't look like a couple of guys just kicking back, going, "Yeah, here's what I think about the sports thing." Welcome to the show. Welcome to my left, actually, in reality. We're mirrored. Is Maddie DeMaz. As soon as I get this thing figured out, I'm going to be able to, snap to different individual. But right now, because of the way the cameras are set up and mirrored, then that would actually be match shot without the effect on it. But that's just no. We don't want to do that.
I like the shot where we're separate in separate windows.
Right.
It makes us look like we're in totally different locations.
Yeah, like I can't even smell you over here.
Well, I can still smell you.
But see, now your regular shot is regular. Regular.
Yeah.
Okay. But my regular shot is sideways. So we'll work on that. Like I said, that's what these first shows are. It's for the bugs.
Yeah.
Okay. It's July. The half a dozen of you that are going to watch, we're happy to have you. We love you. Thanks for coming. But,
there's information on this.
There's information. Don't worry about the special effects yet.
How do you like the yellow shirt?
The yellow is yellowing. It is. It really is.
It's my favorite color.
I got to tell you, though, I mean, the cameras that we use, yours is a pretty good camera, but my new camera, it makes me look too good. I'm disturbed by it.
Yeah, you look too good. That's what I was going to use.
I'm too
good.
No, you can see too many flaws. You can see all the crap on my face.
You know what? That was a fear when they first came out with the high definition TVs.
Steal your face.
Is all these vain middle-aged actors that were worried about what people are going to now know what they look like, right? Because you can see only makeup can hide so much. But then the makeup industry just got really good, so they still were able to hide some stuff. But we were talking about makeup and high def and stuff. So who are you taking? Number 1? No.
And with the first pick,
I'm going to take
in the 2026 fantasy football draft.
It is July. You did mention that clearly.
Yes.
Early July.
Yes.
It's the 193rd day of the year.
How many mocks have you done?
A lot.
Oh
my gosh. But more importantly, like I told you pre-show, is my focus this year, again, is just we've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
And I feel like, we're pretty good at it, but I feel like there's room for improvement. So I'm going to spend a lot of time learning about a lot of things about the teams. The biggest takeaway from last year that I learned is that most players, they want to put certain players in boxes. They want to assume based on the name on the jersey that player is going to produce a certain amount of statistics. And if they don't, then it's a bust, it's a failure, whatever. Okay. But there's usually going to be explanations as to why.
Right.
So my focus this year, and again, something that we also know, every year there's coaching changes. Okay. So last year there were 10 different coaching changes?
Yeah.
So you have to assume, again, like anything else, 10 different coaching changes, 10 different location changes, 10 different coaching style changes. It's lazy to think that because player A had 80 catches for 1,200 yards and got 10 touchdowns. And again, same offense, maybe, whatever the case may be. You think that player is going to automatically hit those same markers again. That's not the case. Okay. That's why we look at the end of the draft.
Moving parts.
A lot of things happen.
There's a lot of moving parts.
But there are reasons why we go every year. And then we talk about, well, how come half the first round's pick didn't hit first round success? Why were there so many busts? Well, maybe we could tell some of these stories ahead of time.
It's like, why are you so excited about this player?
Yeah. So again, we know there's going to be moving parts. These players, ADPs are starting to get established. We kind of have an idea where players are going. So
imagine that. We're the algorithm in this.
Yeah. So it's all going to determine upon if you think those players are going to exceed expectations,
whatever platform,
or fall short.
Whatever platform you do mock drafts on. Okay, the mock drafts are going to set ADPs because we're the algorithm. Okay, so make sure that you mean it because this maniac, how many mocks have you done?
I've done a lot so far, but not so much where I'm participating. An example I gave you pre-show was I'll just, random pick where I'm picking, first, 4th, 12th, whatever. Most of them are 12 teams. And what I'll do is I'll just like say in the third round, they give you suggestions on players to take. I'll just throw in a random player.
Take a kicker.
Yeah, well, to some degree, but just to mess up the algorithm, so it resets their algorithm, but still
Smoke will come out of your computer.
it still maintains some sort of semblance on where most of the guys should be taken. But again, it may give you a different lean. It may give you a different option. You may look at a player differently. Back to what I was going towards in terms of my efforts, in terms of all these notes and all the research that I'm going to have prepared for, is explaining situations, knowing teams' tendencies. Real simple without boring you with all the stats already. One of the things I'm going to look at for quarterbacks, for instance, is total attempts. Okay, we looked at pre-show. Which team last year threw the ball the most?
Right.
It was the Arizona Cardinals. Now, who would have thought they had the most pass attempts? But guess what? They did. Why? Defense was terrible. They were behind in a lot of these games.
Yep.
Okay, so you start to paint pictures of why things happen so that you can now take that to this year and go, okay, well, the first thing I'm looking at this year, teams with terrible defenses. Okay, and then you're like, okay, well, wait, I'm not picking defenses, but you're not. You're picking offenses. And teams with terrible defenses, guess what? Are behind and have to throw the football. Look at a team like Houston with a great defense, with great offensive skill players, where their numbers are capped because of opportunity or lack thereof. So guys like Nico Collins, best catch rate, guy's got the top metrics in the league, one of the best receivers, right?
Right.
Put him on a team that's going to get a ton of attempts. His numbers are going to, be off the charts. But he's in a limited offensive scheme with a run-first approach with a great defense. So no matter how good Nico Collins is, that ceiling is going to have a little bit of a cap on it.
And
So-
they're always going to get that extra possession because that defense beats people up. They take the ball away from you. They get you 3 and outs. They get you off the field really fast. So you look at Houston. Let's check the amount of possessions that team had. I mean, it was a shock to me that they flashed out in the playoffs because all C.J. Stroud had to do was don't throw interceptions.
Yeah, that defense was unbelievable.
That's all you had to do. Run the ball and don't throw picks. And he threw picks.
Well, the defense was historic down the stretch.
Brutal.
But that's my point exactly, is that
Savages.
you're not going to chase offense on a team that has such a good defense. You're going the other direction. So again, primary list, the worst 10 defenses in football. And then go find the best offensive pieces on that team. And then sort of work through and navigate where you think that those players are going to end up. Because again, opportunity presents results, and results is what makes us win championships. So
Yeah, 100%.
that's what we're going for.
100%. We're trying to pass the wisdom along.
Yeah, so go through the mocks, do a ton of them, get involved with some of them, pick a position, draft a team, or just let the computer run it. And again, mess with it to try and create some variables and some twists and some turns. But based on that, you can kind of find out, what maybe some values are. And I'm certainly doing that. So, fun stuff.
Well, I'm trying to get into the chat on YouTube, and for some strange reason, they're just telling me, no, you get nothing and like it. So, but I just wanted to thank everybody who's tuned in on YouTube, and we're heading over to Twitch here in a minute. But so beginning with let's try position by position. I mean, because you've already got a mock draft board up there on his computer right now. He's mocking as we speak. That's totally unprofessional.
Just a click of a button. That's all it is.
Just a click.
Just a click of a button.
But
That's all it is.
So let's break down the positions, because we all know that the highest value position is running back. It really is, because there's so few elite running backs. Okay, so position by position, let's go. Who are we gonna? We all know we're leading with Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is it. He is the consensus number one.
Well, not in this mock. He's fourth.
I'm sorry, we're mirrored cameras. I'm looking the wrong way. He's consensus number one, right?
No, he's actually fourth here in this draft. It depends, though. I mean, these guys, it's tough to split hairs between Bijan, Jamar Chase, Gibbs, Puka. If you've got some faith in that offense in Stafford, so it's really tough to split hairs on those first 4 or 5 picks, in my opinion.
No argument there.
You can put Gibbs first, and I'm okay with that. There's an argument there for that. Or you can, like in this mock,
Bijan Robinson.
or this one's got Jamar Chase number 1.
Jamar Chase.
And I'm okay with that one too, I guess. So, it's tough. That's why, again, we'll get into this is tiers. You got to get these guys in tiers.
Right. Well, and listen, I consider running back to be a more valuable position, especially in the upper echelons, because there's a smaller sample size of elite running backs. What would you say that there's 12 elite running backs?
Hardly. I mean,
10?
maybe it's hard. I mean, when it all shakes out, you do have the top list, obviously, and usually the guys that outside of injury usually get to the top.
Right.
But where I find it interesting this specific year is that next level.
Those mid-level, mid-tier running backs.
What most players that are going to be drafting are going to be looking at taking as their RB2.
Right.
So, for example, like I'll throw names out there like ETN, Javonte Williams, Jacobs, Kyron Williams, Scadaboo coming back from the injury.
It's a big sample size.
Henry in some drafts, I'm still seeing going late first round back end, and then certainly by the turn. I have my opinions on that. But, these sorts of 6, 7 guys in that next tier are guys you're going to have to decide and determine which guys you think are going to outperform. And again, there's other metrics that I'll be using. We'll be talking about. This is something that I looked at too. Offensive lines, okay? Obviously, a running back success is critical on the success of the offensive line. All right. You look at a guy like Genty last year, who, coming into the draft, number 1 running back taken, explosive guy, metrics off the chart, but was behind one of the worst offensive lines.
Terrible.
And the numbers show that. Yards before contact, the Raiders were the worst in the league. So he wasn't even getting a chance to even get to the line of scrimmage before he had bodies on him. Doesn't matter how good you are. These are big men that can tackle, and they're going to, certainly be able to make you less effective.
Everybody in the league is large.
When you look at the top teams, and I have a list here, offensive line-wise, of teams that were the best at allowing their running backs to get into that second level. The Rams, the Bills, the Lions, the Bears, the Broncos, the Eagles. Okay, what's the common denominator? They all have running backs that put up big numbers. Okay, and that's the reason, because they can block. The worst teams, here's the example. The Raiders, we just talked about. The Browns, Quinshon Jennings last year, talented guy, his metrics are terrible because he just never has a shot to get to that next level. The Packers.
He had two good offensive linemen, but if they didn't make pancake blocks, he had nowhere to run.
Well, the numbers are suggesting in terms before contact, second worst. Packers, Chargers, another guy that I'm high on this year, Marion Hampton. When he was healthy, first 6 weeks before he got hurt, he was top 3 in explosive rates, breaking tackles, the stuff that are important for running backs, so that when they get the O-line fixed, you get to now see that player and see how good they are. But last year, the Chargers were one of the worst. Commanders, Saints, common theme also, they're just bad football teams.
And it doesn't even have to be a major fix. You could just go from, you can get to mediocre.
Well, and in some cases,
you're going to be happy with it.
It may be enough in some cases, but you certainly can't be at the bottom of these lists. Because if you are and you're expecting to take offensive pieces from these teams,
screwed.
No bueno. Okay, that's why you're like, how come my guy 20 carries for 50 yards and what? Because the offensive line is terrible, or the game scripts don't set up in your favor. So you got to get into all that stuff. So those are some of the examples. So back to that list of next tier running backs, I ranked them. Okay, I like what ETN did last year, and to me, what that shows you in terms of what Jacksonville has in the building, I feel, they were like, okay, well, go do it someplace else. Now, ETN, he's a middle of the pack guy when it comes to those metrics, separation, yards after contact, stuff like that. But he's a volume guy. And in that offense that we talked about, that is going to be predicated on a lot of volume, safe, protected, short passes. I just think that's an environment where he's going to thrive. And if you looked at what they're doing schematically, I think the Saints are an ascending football team. Okay, the quarterback last few weeks had some decent numbers, averaged 300 yards a game for the last 3. I'm high on some other pieces in that offense too, like Olave, ton of catches last year. I think he had 100 catches last year. So, the Saints offensively common denominator, back to what we said before, bad defense.
Right.
Bad defense, get some offense. So the Saints are certainly a
That
team.
means you're going to be working a lot.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Opportunities. If you're chasing points, what are you trying to get? Points. And that's good for fantasy. Okay, back to that ranking group. ETN, I've got him number 1. Kyron Williams. Okay, this is strictly another volume play. Not a great metric guy, but it doesn't matter because the Rams have one of the best offenses in the league. They also have one of the best offensive lines in the league. They've got one of the best coaches in the league. Innovative. They've got weapons.
And he's got a really good handcuff in Blake Corum. Okay, a lot of people seem to have forgotten that Blake Corum is another Texas back, just like Kyron Williams is. And they're good. He's really, really good. If he had the same workload, he would have the same production.
Possibly.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe even more.
Possibly.
So,
But back
he's
to
a
the
bigger
list.
back.
Jacobs, another guy, not really high on him. But
Nah.
third, Cam Scatterboo. Okay, the Giants this year. This is an interesting watch this year. You got the coach.
Everybody wants to see Scatterboo go nuts. I know.
And all the talk so far, and I know you can't really buy into a lot of this coach speak. I know it's early, especially too, but they're like, no, Cam's our guy. He's getting all the touches. He is a 3-down back.
Harbaugh likes a little misdirection,
But I do think that Cam is a guy that could be a little bit undervalued this year for a couple of reasons. One is the Giants. Nobody has a lot of faith in that offense. Again, the quarterback, how it all shakes out. Jackson Dart, obviously in spurts played well, but you don't look at the Giants as being this offensive juggernaut. Neighbors, questionable injury coming back. Is he ready for the first few weeks? Who knows? So there's lots of questions offensively. But that aside, I think he's being undervalued. And I think that those are the kinds of guys that if you take a chance on, which you have to, if you're going to win a league, that's a huge risk reward guy. And I think the reward upside
it's a huge upside.
Is massive. Yeah, is massive for a guy like that. That's another thing I want to talk about with these drafts. There's only one winner, obviously, in these 12 teams league, and it really doesn't matter if you finish 2nd, 6th, 8th. You're trying to win these leagues.
Right.
You have to go in it with the approach that in some of these mid to later rounds, that when people are zigging, you got to be zagging. You got to go in different directions, and you got to be able to find guys or bring guys into the draft with you that you project as high ceiling guys that aren't necessarily on radars or at least most radars, or vice versa, maybe guys that everybody is on that have them projected for, let's say, the 6th round, and you're not afraid to go out and get them in the 4th.
Right.
Because you really think that player is going to be the difference.
Right. Well, listen, over the span of my career here, been playing fantasy football for 34, 35 years now, I figured it out early that stacking, investing in an offense, whether it's the quarterback, wide receiver 1 stack, or it's the quarterback, running back that catches balls stack. Okay, but if you have an offense that produces, especially on those 2 and 3 levels, okay, like let's say you get quarterback, tight end, okay, whoever the quarterback is for the Raiders, they're going to be a decent second option as a starting quarterback, but you're going to have Brock Bowers. Okay, that's where the tight end part of the stack, the receiver part of the stack is stronger than the quarterback. So you would definitely have that tight end because he's going to be the first option. But if you really want to, especially maximize your value if you have an injury or you're coming up on a bye date, you definitely want to, stack that quarterback up on him. It's the same with any offense. If it's a prolific offense, you got to get it. You got to get whoever you can get on it. We're talking 1993. I had Dan Marino, Mark Ingram, and Irving Fryer. I did not give a shit. Okay, I went and had all, and guess what? I finished 2nd in the league, and that was a shootout league. That was all the way to the end of the season. And then the 2 best teams at the end.
You ain't first, you're last.
Yeah.
So
don't you put that evil on me, Big Ricky Bobby.
have we brought him in yet?
Bring in the kicker.
What's going on, bro?
It's
Nothing
4th
much.
down.
You know that I got bro shamed?
You got bro shamed.
Yeah, this is how it happened. And I don't even know
Sorry,
why.
I'm looking at you over here.
I'm not even sure why I caught on to this terrible habit, but once in a while, I'm in conversations, and because we work with a lot of millennials,
Right.
I'll throw out, because they say it all the time, I'll be like, what's up, bro? And then my daughter too, bro. So apparently, I threw it out there to somebody that was younger than me considerably, like probably young, like 20, 21. And I'm not either of those.
No.
Matter of fact, if you doubled it and added a few, you probably would need to add a few more. But that aside, I just threw it out there. And Brianna looked at me and was like, "Did you just bro him?" and I said, "I think I did. I think I broed him." And she was like, "She's like, Dad, he's not on your bro level." And I was like, "There's levels to this too?" And I'm like, "Wow, I really messed this up." So I got to be bro conscious from now on, and or just not use it at all somehow. Get it out of my vocabulary. So, bro.
Well, listen, from my days as a professional wrestler, believe me, wasn't that damn glamorous. I used brother sparingly before that, and then looking at you over here, being in that business where everything is brother this, brother that, brother this, brother that. But I never went to bro. Okay.
I say brother a lot.
Right. Okay.
But to people, men, even a lot more strangers.
Well,
or a guy I haven't seen for a while, or guys will come in at work and they'll do the fist bump and be like, "Hey, what's up, brother?" Something like that. And it's very informal.
Bro.
It's not a
bro.
But I can't be walking around talking to 18, 19-year-old boys and going, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Because I'm not their bro.
Right.
Like that doesn't apply.
So, dude him one time. Dude him.
I think I'm just not going to address them at all. I'm just going to stand there.
Stand there and stare at him like a serial killer.
They, you know what? They should be calling me sir anyway. It should be, "Hey, sir," and I should be like, "What's up?" Kind of that's how I should. It should be, "What's up?" No, bro. Anyway.
Well, there's a guy that we're going to have on here eventually. I'm going to invite him on to come in and talk with us, especially since he's kind of kicking Hard Rock Bet's ass right now.
Yeah.
It's our boy Enrique Ariano.
Enrique. Is he watching right now?
He's not watching on Facebook. I know that.
Then he can't be on the show.
Well, I didn't go around. I usually do a lot of obnoxious tagging. I tag a lot of people who I know are sports nuts, and then they get dinged. But like I said, these are trial runs. These are bug runs, if you will. These are beta tests. And Enrique will be invited on because of his insight, but get your bro monitor out. Get your bro counter out.
Bro.
Because it will be bro. And he is such an infectiously positive dude. And when you have him in a group, especially a group of DJs like we are, it's just all of a sudden the bro level goes through the roof.
I mentioned a player before to you, and you gave him so much dolphin poop hate that you were like,
there was no poop hate. It's a fact.
All I was doing was trying to compare.
It's a fact.
I was trying to compare Waddle and Egbuka, and only because they're relatively being taken in the same place. Okay, Waddle again, and these are just these mocks I run. He's been taken about 39. Egbuka's been taken about 41. And immediately you go into this tirade of, "Oh, he can't play in cold weather." Okay, fine. That's fine. But I didn't argue back because I didn't want to pick on your quarterback, who we all knew who couldn't play in cold weather. And he was the one who was actually throwing the ball to the guy who you're saying couldn't play in cold weather. But that's fine. I am on the Waddle side of that.
I'm still a big fan, dude.
Whether that the Egbuka. Now, I'm just comparing these two between Egbuka, because I've got some numbers to back up Egbuka and what happened there. Now, there's a story to be told, because also the quarterback, which everybody fell in love with over the last 2-3 seasons, Baker. Oh, he's the best quarterback. He's a gamer.
He's great.
Statistically last
year.
I'll
go get my jersey. I got a jersey.
All right. Well, statistically last year, he fell off completely. But it wasn't like a few weeks. It was like after week 4. Like he was like 28th overall. I mean, it went south quick. I didn't get into the story as to why. I'm sure it's not all on Baker, because you don't go from being really bad in Cleveland and New York to being really good in Tampa to being really bad. So things happen for reasons I'll find out, but it was bad. And Ibuka, maybe it's the receivers were the problem. Let's get into it. Since week 11, okay, we're talking about periods of when the Tampa struggled and when
He
Baker
hit the
struggled.
rookie wall.
Okay, well, the wall was he was not higher than wide receiver 39 from week 11 on. Okay.
Hit the rookie wall,
Okay.
dude.
Yeah, just not great. The last 3 weeks of the season, he was getting 2 and 3 targets a game. So he wasn't even a focal point.
Well, let's also remember that Mike Evans was playing on one leg. Let's remember that.
Yeah, they were hurt. I get. Tampa was hurt.
Godwin was just coming back from his injury.
This story we're telling here is a comparison between 2 players that are being taken in the same place. Waddle and Ibuka.
Okay.
And I'm going to say I'm taking Waddle.
Okay.
You're taking who?
Ibuka.
Okay. Clearly, because you guy can't play in the Colt.
And I'll stack him with Baker Mayfield if I get a chance.
Right.
So there.
Fine. You will get a chance because nobody's taking Baker.
Good.
So you have all the chances in the world that you need.
Match my jersey.
So
got a really nice red Buccaneers jersey.
It is a
number
nice
6.
It is a nice jersey.
I like it.
It is a nice jersey.
I go, this is nice.
Those jerseys are cheaper today than when you bought them.
Yeah, well,
unfortunately,
since they're gigantic jerseys that fit my fat ass, they're more with a square inch.
Actually, you could probably turn yours into 2 jerseys and then maybe turn a small profit. Anyway, so yeah, back to those two comparisons.
I got this. This is for you here.
You don't even know where that finger's going. Do you want to hear about my top 12 players in the draft? Because, all right, this was the most recent mock.
No, I did all of this because I don't want to hear it. I just don't.
They got Jamar Chase at number 1. Okay, let's just do straight comparisons.
I won't argue.
I said it's tough with these guys, but I don't have him 1. I have him 3. Okay, my 1 is Gibbs. Okay, which you also agree with. They got him at 4, but I'm going Gibbs and Bijan as my 1 and 2. I'm putting the running backs on top of Chase, and I'm doing that because I think that even though we talked about there being some good opportunities for those RB2s in that 4th round, 5th round, I think there's misses there too. I don't think all those guys hit. Mm-hmm. So if you're not locking up one of the top running backs, like a Bijan, like a Gibbs, like if you have any faith in McCaffrey, JT, stuff like that, then you're in a good spot. So that's the reason why I'm putting those 2 guys above Chase. But again, it's splitting hairs. So I got Gibbs 1, I got Bijan 2, I got Chase and Puka to follow with St. Brown. Now, this is a guy I want to talk about because I got him probably as high as anybody's going to have him on any draft board. I got Drake London at 6. Now, in this particular draft, I think he fell to the 2nd round.
Can I say something?
No.
But look down again. Mm. I love your hat.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I just noticed this.
Yeah. By the way, where are we at?
You've been here for 2 hours, and I just noticed your hat. It's like, geez, Grandpa.
I'm there, so why not advertise? Yeah. Plus, this gives me an excuse. Like people will be like, "Why is he acting like that?" I'd be like, "Well, that's why right there."
Why are you so mean?
Get out of my yard, you son of a bitch! All right, so
go ahead. Those upper tier running backs.
No. Drake London, a guy that I'm as high on as anybody.
You are
in the league, and I'll throw numbers at you to say why. Okay, I looked at him today, and I'm like, golly, Drake London.
But is he a 1st round pick? Is he a 1st round pick?
He's number 6 for me.
Number 6?
Yeah, and the reason being is because when he first came into the league, the knock was, he there was such a difference between him playing at home and playing on the road.
Right.
And the home road
true.
splits. And baseball, that's a big deal for pitchers, I think, other things. But football, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But in his case, it was. And looking at his numbers for this year, and where's my guy? I got notes. Oh, where's my guy? He got hurt last year. So prior to the injury, okay, now this is a stretch of about 6 weeks, weeks 4 to week 11.
Right.
This dude had 44 catches and 6 touchdowns. Okay, in a 6-week stretch. That's
with
a touchdown
Michael Penix at quarterback, or
I'll get into that. Okay, 3 of
or
those.
With Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Don't forget, Kirk Cousins was playing the last 4 games.
Okay, well, this is those games in where it was Penix, and I'll get to that breakdown. But 2 of those weeks he was wide receiver 1. One of those weeks he was wide receiver 2. That's in a 6-week stretch before he gets hurt.
Overall.
And overall that week. Okay, fantasy hosts, we're trying to do.
Right.
You got the best receiver of the week.
Well, they're taking notes. So be careful. If they're smart, they're taking.
You're probably going to win with the best receiver of the week. So guy blows it up for 6 weeks. Okay, now we look at environment. You can't have a worse environment. Okay, you had one of the worst quarterbacks in the league throwing him the football, at least to that point, Penix. Statistically, in that stretch of that 6 weeks where before, I'll say it again, before Drake London got hurt, Penix was not higher than quarterback 25 in any of those weeks. 1 week, I think, actually take it back. 1 week, I think he was quarterback 12, and the rest of the weeks he was 25 and higher. He did not have a game where he threw for over 250 yards in any of those 6 games where Drake London dominated and was the best in the league for the week.
That's quite some homework you got over there.
So you got a guy that's dominating despite every variable against him, and he's still putting up the best numbers. The dude is an absolute beast. He's not being drafted like such. And if you think in the quarterback transformation now with Tua, who, by the way, is a huge volume guy, and if Tua does win the job, by the way, a few years ago, Tua had the most yards in the AFC. We know the dude can throw the football. Okay, we know he can complete passes. So I would highly, highly be looking at Drake London this year as a guy that if you had to make decisions over guys that are in that range, wherever you feel that range is, late back in the first round, early on the turn, second round, you better be clicking Drake London because that dude, when on the field, metric-wise, numbers-wise, production-wise, everything points up for this dude. And I am all over Mr. DL. So get yourself some of that Drake. That's my Drake explanation. So that's my boy.
That whole Atlanta offense is going to produce. They really, really are. Speaking of, once again, Mr. Stack, okay, they really are going to produce, and they're too deep at quarterback, so they're not going to have a lot of fall off. Honestly,
all I'm saying is that those conditions and those environments couldn't have probably gotten any worse. And despite that, the dude is one of the best to play in that stretch. Yeah. So slightly improve the environment at worst, which I know they can do.
I'm still a Kirk Cousins fan. The guy can ball out, and he proved it last year. Okay, Penix has what shall we say? He has a lack of confidence, I would have to say, as far as throwing the ball over the middle. And he was doing what he was told, which was throw it to 5, find 5, occasionally 8, 5. Because what happened when Kirk Cousins took over? Okay, all of a sudden we found out who Kyle Pitts was. Found out who he was real friggin' quick.
Yeah, he had better numbers when he was in there, but Kyle Pitts was still an enigma for a few years.
They signed him to an extension. They were going to lose him.
The dude's good, and tight ends are a premium, so he definitely can play. But
with Kevin Stefanski as your head coach,
I do
bet.
Listen, I'm a fan of the Falcons' offense. They've got pieces. Bijan, top running back in the league. London, best, one of the top wide receivers in the league.
Okay, so
you mentioned Pitts.
You score London. Okay. Let's say you wait until the 9th or 10th round to draft a quarterback. And do you go after Tua or Team QB Atlanta?
No, not in the 9th round.
Not in the 9th round?
No reason for that.
12th round?
I don't. Depends on
Later?
the draft. Depends on the room. Depends on the
right.
room. Depends on what people are taking.
All
Depends
right.
on the quarterback run. Is it a 2-quarterback league? No. Anyway, Tua
You
is
don't
not on
wanna-
my board.
You don't want to stack that?
No, Tua is not on my board.
Okay.
No. Back to my top 10. Back to their top 10 or 12.
Trying to corner him.
McCaffrey, okay?
Captain Stem Cells.
700 touches last year. There's never a good script on these guys.
The poster child for stem cell therapy, man.
When you have all the boxes checked, the age, the wear and tear, the injury history, just the general understanding of how
really bad commercials
of how the position works. We know the grind these guys put. We know that there's a wall that these guys hit. And, unfortunately, it's usually not a gradual thing. Like you're like, oh, you can kind of see it week 13. The wall is a stretcher.
It's like, boop,
Bye.
Boom, you're on. Bye.
Bye. And I am just not willing to take a risk first round selection on a guy like McCaffrey. I'm just not. I'm not. It's not.
It's risky.
Now, it's not to say he's not going to have the same year he had last year, because he's another guy. When you watch the videos like Derrick Henry, where they're running up a hill carrying a car, you're like, oh my God, these guys are unbelievable. They're trained. Nobody trains like them. That's fine. But Father Time in the NFL is a real motherfucking thing. And
ask Tom Brady. We thought he was going to play forever.
Well, John did play for almost ever, but there are many other players who thought they were Tom Brady and they were not. They were Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Okay. So who broke down and hung on for 5 years
overnight.
Yeah. So no, it doesn't work like that, and it's not going to work like that in this case. I am not taking McCaffrey at 5. So I substituted some guys. I got Devon Achane up in the first round. And I'll say this again, and this is an important thing. You have to look at this. Who is the team they're playing for? Now, the Dolphins are going to stink, okay? I know they're going to stink. I don't care what argument you're going to make that make them, if this guy does well and this pick, they're going to be better than them. No, the Dolphins are going to stink. They should stink. It's best for them if they do stink. So let's just say they stink. Achane doesn't stink. That dude is a effing monster, right? And he's going to get a lion's share at least of the workload. Ding, ding, ding. You like that, right? Those are good numbers.
That's a good thing.
We saw what he does when he gets the football. He's one of the most explosive guys in space. You want that for a running back, okay? I'm going to go along this way.
I'm not going to argue.
Despite him stinking, or not him stinking, the team stinking.
The team stinking.
I do think defensively, I'm hoping the Dolphins are going to be a little bit better than what people think. Defensively. I think offensively is a challenge. And this is kind of a contradiction, because if the offense struggles, it's going to put more pressure on the defense. But I think sometimes you can tell that reverse split story where you're like, well, how did that work? Well, the defense was just pretty good, maybe, right? So I think the defense helps my story, because if the Dolphins can stay competitive and lose 12 games, well, guess what? Achane is still a factor in the fourth quarter. And when the Dolphins aren't down by 2 touchdowns, maybe they're down by a touchdown. And he's still, because he's their best player, has to be part of the primary focus. So I know I'm painting a nice...
Imagine having him as a check down option.
Well, he's going to be that way for the first half of the game.
It's going to be beautiful.
Just like the Saints overused Kamara for all those years. Those Saints teams were terrible. And Kamara was catching 80 passes a year and still getting inside the top 5 and 6 every single year in fantasy.
True.
So I don't care if Achane plays on a team that stinks.
I like the purple, by the way. Don't you like the purple?
I don't see it that well, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But for me,
Achane's gonna light it up.
I got him in there. I mean, because I really think that he's going to get a ton of opportunities on a team that's going to depend on him to be the rock. Okay,
2,000 total yards.
It would be traumatic.
2,000 total.
I would be in bliss, because I'm going after him a lot this year. He's going to be a
10
guy,
plus total touchdowns.
Oh, easily. I think he gets to the 10 touchdowns. Now again, that's what may suffer, because again, you're looking at a team that's not that good. So but you know what though? It's tough to extrapolate touchdowns anyway. Okay, I want usage. I want him to catch 80 balls, and if he catches 80 balls, he's going to get 700 yards. And he's going to get 3 to 4 to 5 touchdowns out of that. And that is first round production for a running back.
What do you have, 59 last year?
60, something like that, whatever it is. But, use that as a baseline. I'm hoping he does more than that. So I got Achane moved up into the first round, because I can, right now, 10 drafts out of 10 drafts, I don't care what round it is. If you say, I'm giving you McCaffrey, I'm giving you Achane, I'm not taking McCaffrey under any circumstance. I'm just not. Now, I could look really bad through the first 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, McCaffrey, he's getting 25 touches a game, and we're looking at him.
And the guy that drafted in 5th is going,
yeah, screw you. But I will
same as last year.
But I will tell you this, and these are real things. I cannot stress this enough. Guys like Henry, guys like McCaffrey, other volume type guys, they need volume to be successful, because they're 1 rush and it's 1 yard, and it's 2 rushes and it's 2 yards, and it's 3 rushes and it's 3 yards, and all of a sudden they break one for 20. And you're like, oh my gosh, now he's averaging 4 yards a pop. But the metrics tell different stories because they need those carries to get to those total cap numbers. McCaffrey last year had like 100 receptions. If he didn't have all his receptions and touchdowns, he'd be a middle of the pack guy. He was averaging like less than
He was
3.
Brock Purdy's safety blanket. He was Mac Jones's safety
on
blanket.
rush attempts, he was averaging like 3.6 yards a rush attempt.
Right.
That's bottom of the league. So be careful with a guy like that. I'm just saying it's
well, that's why they went and got Brian Robinson.
Fine. And again, that doesn't help you if you're taking McCaffrey 5th overall. So not a good picture to paint.
Yeah, no.
Don't like it. Get away from that. But somebody's going to take him out of pressure.
Eventually, you're going to lose that bet. Trust me, as somebody who sought out Derrick Henry every year for 6 straight years, and I had him 4 years. I had four seasons.
Well, the advantage of Henry was this: is that
eventually he's going to break down.
Well, but what happened? Why he was so successful when you're able to keep him up where he's been taken out, is his touchdown volume. Because the Ravens are a top 3, 4, 5 offense. There's a ton of opportunities, and that dude inside the 3-yard line is going to get the football, and he's going to get into the end zone. He's a physical, powerful guy. But when you need him to run the ball 20 times, those 3 yards a clip are not helping you. Okay, no. So I'd rather not chase touchdown dependency because you can't. Okay, you're going to get burnt if you do it more times than not. And there's only so many touchdowns to go around in the NFL to begin with. So it's more about volume and safety for me, and some high-end ceiling type 2 stuff. But guys like Henry, to me, don't have high ceilings. McCaffrey don't have high ceilings. They're volume guys. And let the other guys take the volume guys. Okay, Justin Jefferson. This is going to be ironic.
7th?
Okay, well.
7th.
Now, here's the problem.
7th.
How many touchdowns did Justin Jefferson have last year? Do you know this? Because I can tell you how many he had. He had 2. Okay.
Was it 2? I was going to say 4.
He had 2. Okay. That's a problem.
Oh.
Okay. Now, is it now Justin Jefferson's fault? No. Another top flight receiver we talked about, Nico Collins, all these guys that, are in the top 10% of the league, and the important stuff, route separation, catchability, all these other things that matter for receivers.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Jefferson is elite in those important metrics. But unlike we talked about how Drake London thrived with bad quarterback play.
He had an Uber driver for a quarterback.
Justin Jefferson did not. Justin Jefferson had 2 touchdowns last year and played, I think, 15 games. So disconnect there, again, offensively, and him getting in the end zone. If you think there's going to be some positive touchdown regression for Jefferson, and I think there will be, I don't think he gets 2 again this year.
I wouldn't call it regression. I would call it return to form.
Well, whatever that is, whatever his baseline is, maybe it's not where he was projected last year because he was a first-round pick last year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it was probably based on his 12 to 14 touchdown performance the year before. Okay, maybe that's not his baseline, but if you can get Justin Jefferson with his 80 to 85 catches and 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns as a floor, there's room for a guy like that to give you what you're looking for. Okay. Now, I don't have him in the first round. I took him out because I got a couple of guys, and this is going to be what we're going to talk about certainly on some more shows. I like doing predictions. I like being right. That's right. Because I like looking ahead into my magical crystal ball pad here.
By the way, you're leaning out of your frame.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back in and project out these crazy Nostradamus type projections and ideas and stuff like that. Well, mine, I'm gonna have 5 of them. So here's my 1 for the year so far. 2 receivers from the same team are going to end up inside the top 12 this year in terms of fantasy scoring. Total fantasy scoring. 2 players, same team. That team is the Dallas Cowboys. Those 2 receivers are going to be CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And I have them both inside the first round. I think if you're in the back half of the first round, 10, 11, 12, and certainly into the turn.
George Pickens?
I think getting either of those 2 players, Lamb certainly would be the most popular. Pickens, you won't have to take as early. But I would not have a problem if you're sitting at 7 or 8 and you're making the turn now and coming back, and you've got maybe Jonathan Taylor as your anchor running back at the 7, or if you wanted to reach for an HN, if you think he was not going to be that good, and then you wanted to take another top flight receiver, so you got 1 of each. then you better be taking either Pickens or if he's gone or Lamb at that spot. The Cowboys last year, and we looked at this prior, we said, hey, which team threw the ball the most opportunity? It was the Cardinals. Well, guess who was third? The Cowboys. Cowboys throw the football.
Because they had terrible defense.
Right. They throw the football.
Terrible.
Who they throwing the football to? They got two guys. And the tight end, Jeff, and Ferguson. So they got Pickens, who balled out last year, and they've tagged him this year. So technically still playing for a contract.
Ferguson, Mr. Livy Dunn.
And Lamb, who we know is one of the top receivers in the league. So you got two alphas running down the field, catching a shit ton of passes. Okay. And last year, numbers wise, they would project out to be, if they were healthy enough and played 15 games,
right,
they'd get inside the top 12.
Oh.
So,
and I stand corrected. Ferguson married one of the Cavender twins, by the way.
Good.
Not Livy Dunn. He dated her before.
Good.
That's Paul Skeen's girlfriend now.
So that's my one kind of crazy, not crazy, I don't think it's crazy at all. That's my one prediction this year is you got two Cowboy receivers, go Jerry, that are going to get inside the top 12 this year of fantasy scoring. So when it all plays out like this and you get into the first round and players are being taken, and you're like, oh my gosh, Gonzo took a kicker. You're like, no, this is not the script that you wrote. You got to get guys in tiers. You got to have players that you feel are going to be a little bit better than the guy next to you. And it's okay to reach for some of those guys, just to lock up those guys on your team. I love me some George Pickens this year. I do. You want to hear my AB story? I didn't tell you this from the club. This is on Sunday. Comes in, and AB. You know who AB is? Yeah, no, AB.
You don't know who it is, but go ahead.
AB comes to the car. I'm at the door. And he comes in with two younger guys out of character. And he's a mess, dude. He is a mess.
I saw him come in.
Yeah.
I was there that night.
Okay. Comes to the counter and he goes, I'm going to paraphrase. Something like, tap it. But it's phone. Tap it. Like this. To me, tap it. I look up at him, realize who he is right away. And I look and I go, what? Just with the face. Now, here's the backstory. Backstory is,
Tell the camera.
I had AB stuff at my house. You know, I collect a lot of Steelers stuff, right?
Right.
Well, AB socks a couple of years ago went in the fire pit. And AB's shirt, jersey, I think after I cut it up, also went in the fire pit.
Not your favorite former Pittsburgh Steeler.
And then, okay, so after his second attempt of tap it, I was like, you're going to like this. It's like, bro, I don't understand you.
Bro,
I don't understand you, right? I got the bro AB, right? So I'm like, bro, what are you saying? I'm giving him this kind of like attitude because I'm bigger than he is too. And then by that time, the door comes around and she kind of works out. He wanted to use his phone to pay, right? So,
you wanted to Google Pay?
Dude, speak up, right? I mean, come on, show a little something. What a mess. What a mess. He looked so bad. It's
okay though. He's probably still got millions of dollars in the bank.
I don't think he does. Not with the two guys he was hanging with.
Really?
I'm not knocking him. We're all entitled to our opinion. And I bought his stuff, so I can do whatever I want with it, right? Here, he made his 10 cents off the socks and 25 cents off the jersey and $3 off the picture, whatever. So he's already got his money from me. So if I want to take his shit and burn it or throw it away or wipe my ass with it, I can. And I chose to do all those things. Not in that order, of course, because it would have hurt. But yeah, rough. So I'm not trying to slight him or any other athlete that makes bad choices and gets put in a bad light. Because honestly,
all do it.
Well, the ones that get caught or the ones that get whatever put in that light, a good part of that is probably not on them. Right? Because once you're labeled, we see this in real life too. Once you're labeled as something, it's tough to get away from that something, right?
Then you're that something.
Yes, for a long time. Even if you're never that something again, right? For a lot of people, you're always going to be that something. So, unfortunately, he's kind of went down that path. And, it doesn't seem like, at least from what we're seeing in a very small part of it, it's not getting any better, right?
Right.
So
listen, we had plenty of opportunities in working at our club and the other clubs that I've worked at, that we get to see some of these celebrities and some of these players not only be themselves, but not in the best light. And my whole thing is, you're a grown ass man. You're a grown ass man, and that's your business, and that's, it is what it is.
We also have guys that come in and take care of their business too.
Oh yeah,
that are discreet and are
now,
legit.
Don't throw no more
No,
names around now.
I didn't throw
I
one.
know who you're talking about.
I didn't throw any names around.
I know.
Right? Okay, but I'm just saying.
I know.
Yeah, and more than just him, others too that I've met over the years personally.
Right. Listen, there's a few, let's say former athletes that frequent the clubs, not just ours, that, I wouldn't feel comfortable outing them. You wouldn't expect their squeaky clean image, or at least their non offensive or non whatever image. You wouldn't expect it. You wouldn't expect that from them. Okay, like you wouldn't expect a guy like Tom Brady to go to a strip club. You'd never expect Tom Brady to go to a strip club.
No, you don't. But in the
Okay.
same regard, we got to be careful too, and I'm careful of this. I don't want to sound hypocritical either and say that it's this or it's that and whatever, because it's a job for us and it's provided a living, and
Right.
there are certain avenues. It just depends on, like anything in life. There's a lot of negative aspects of life, jobs, places, environments. It's what you do in those environments that matter. So you can go into any establishment and be a gentleman, be a person, be a human, or you can go into another establishment and be a total douchebag. It's the person really that you're judging. It's not where they are, what they're doing, the choices they've made. So for the most part, I haven't had any bad experiences with anybody I've met. Honestly, even the one I mentioned, it wasn't a terrible experience. I was just like, the interaction was just not a normal sort of reaction that I get from normal people, and that's just, so I reacted the way I did. And now we're talking about it. So that's why I have no issue in explaining that position for me, because I lived it. I saw it.
Right.
He's who he is. I'm who I am. Nobody. He's the same nobody.
Right.
But lots of opportunities to be somebody. And he chose the bad path, unfortunately, it seems. And that's fine. Whatever.
Well,
that's okay.
Allegedly bad path.
Well, I've seen things. We all seen things, and it's not allegedly. There's truth to that. So.
Well, speaking of strip clubs, we all know the reason why LeBron James up and abruptly left Miami. Okay, and that's because he got caught at a strip club with his buddy Mario Chalmers, and his old lady found out and was not happy. And then all of a sudden, he's got to go back to Ohio. So
I thought he was locked to go to Golden State, but now I'm hearing Philly.
Philly?
I heard that today. What? Just
come back to
stop.
Miami and just stay out to strip clubs.
No,
That's all.
don't even come back to Miami. Go to Cleveland and
You shut up.
I don't want him to come to Miami.
I got 2 LeBron James jerseys I want to wear. Shut up. What's wrong with you? Yeah, bring your ass back here. All right, that's it. We've had enough.
You sure?
I don't know. Well, you going to talk about aliens now?
We haven't. We could.
Well, I still want to do an alien show. Okay. Well, why? What's the latest in aliens?
No, it's
besides
just,
the fact that they're,
right now we're fighting a war in Iran. They're not agreeing. They're just delaying the whole disclosure. So it's not going to go well.
You think maybe crude oil is something that's valuable to aliens? Maybe they use it as food?
I don't think so.
Because I don't think we use that much crude oil. Even the massive amount of vehicles that we use, that's an awful lot of.
The Denver
crude oil.
Broncos, 6 total sacks last year. The offensive line went up total.
Yeah.
Number 1 offensive line coming in this year. I got Indy at 2 offensive line. Their center, that Bortolini guy, he rated out 3rd last year in terms of run blocking. And then their guards, Quentin Nelson.
Oh, Quentin Nelson's one of the best guards in the NFL.
Man, really, really good. Yeah, really, really good. The Bears, one of the biggest improvements last year. 2 years ago, 37 sacks. Last year, only 13. Maybe they got distracted with Caleb's nails and they couldn't.
Well, the offensive line that everybody's going to be a little surprised at, it's going to be Miami's offensive line.
How about this? I did not know this about the Steelers. The Steelers last year, #1 in terms of pressure rate allowed, 24% on just basic drop back passes. That second was 32%. They were 25% better than the second place team. So you were giving Aaron Rodgers the least amount of pressure in football last year. Wow, that's something.
And you still didn't make it to the playoffs.
Shocking. No, it's just because those sort of metrics, you're like, well, God, he should have thrown for a lot more yards than he did. And that wasn't all about their offensive line. I was shocked to learn also that they were another top 5 unit in that is pressure rate. They were first in pressure rate, but there was another one where they were like 4th or 5th. Oh, the running back yards before contact. Okay, there were 2 teams last year that were 2 yards and more, which means it was the running back got a full 2 yards before they were contacted. And I think that was Denver and maybe the Colts. And the Steelers were like only one of 5 or 6 teams that were more than like 1.5 yards.
Yeah.
So they were in the top 10 in
That's
that
Arthur
as well.
Smith.
But shocking that
he likes to get his running backs out in space.
I just didn't know that the Steelers' offensive line, and I'm glad for this because under Tomlin for years it was so bad. But it looks like some of the pieces in place are starting to work offensively. I think Michael Pittman this year is going to be a beast, more so than Metcalf. You're going to have to take Metcalf slightly higher than Pittman. Pittman's the perfect type receiver.
Big body.
That Aaron Rodgers is going to love to throw to because he's going to be in the slot a lot and moving around a lot.
Jordy Nelson?
Maybe, but bigger because Pittman's a little more physical and bigger than Jordy was.
Big.
But that type of player that's got great hands.
Ohio State.
That is going to be able to, that guy right there, again, I mean, I know I'm putting some faith in Aaron Rodgers staying healthy, but the offensive line's good. Okay, let's say that. You bring in a guy like Pittman, and obviously they're going to have a defined role for him. They've got the running backs sort of figured out. Let's see. I think Pittman could be a 65, 70 catch guy. If he ends up being your wide receiver 3, and you may not have to take him like that, that could be a steal. Those are the sorts of guys you're going to have to, put on your team that are going to elevate you in terms of getting.
Stop telling people this.
No, I like Pittman.
They're going to.
And I don't like many Steelers over the years.
And that's a guy that I have in the back of my head.
Yeah.
That's one of my sleepers. That's one of my sneakies.
It's my job to tell people.
You're giving away all my secrets.
I like Pittman this year. Take him 5 spots higher than where he's being taken.
September 6th at Twin Peaks.
Those guys.
That's when I plan on doing my most damage.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else there, Mr. Old Fucker Schlub?
I don't think so. How's the hat backwards look? I'm gonna
pull
it off too. Bro. How's that?
It's looking brolicious.
I like this yellow shirt too, by the way.
Broish.
I do. That's all, I guess.
Well, why don't you get you a Pittsburgh Steelers pin?
I have pins.
Okay.
I got pins.
Well,
the Bears.
Then we're going to call it a night. Thanks a lot for watching. These shows, like I said, you're going to see changes like this coming from time to time. And I mean, you're going to see changes also in the various logos and such that we have at our disposal because I like playing with AI and polishing things up so that you can see the Gonzo radios. You see the detail on the sports desk and all of that. Viva Nest, of course, something I'm very proud of, and we're getting ready to go live with that too. So it's coming. It's all coming in due time, kids. So on behalf of myself and the guy with the yellow shirt, who's really, really happy with his yellow shirt, say goodbye to the nice people.
Peace out.
All right. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see your ass next week.
Hamalama
On the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk Network channel podcast. Purple.